Origin just owns UX, and this is toilet sinks submarine, most expensive bow mold ever. How does this sentence make sense? I don't. Obviously, if it's not obvious already, this is Fat Electrician video. Okay, again, all the videos from Fat Electrician is like military related, right? Proper military related. At the same time, feels like it could be internet historian title. I don't know, just something weird, right? And this is like one of those things like toilet sinks submarine. And he just reports facts. It's not like he has this kind of like a. He just reports facts, which means there are incidents that are like really weird in the world. There are a lot of it apparently. So how the for somebody's boat, some kind of a toilet dropped and it hit a submarine and it sank it. How does toilet sinks the submarine? Okay, it's gonna be fun because it's Fat Electrician video and it's always some wacky shit. So yeah. Remember, people, if you like my reaction, don't subscribe. That way you can help this channel by helping the algorithm, and I know which videos to react to more. And if you haven't seen my other reactions to Fat Electrician and military related things, which I've been doing a lot lately, check out the link in the description or the end cards, end of the video. Follow me on Instagram if you want. There's a link in the description. And yeah, let's do it.
Today we're talking about that time in World War II when a German officer sank his own submarine by taking a dump. Yeah, this actually happened. But first, an ad.
Oh, his own submarine. So somebody took a dump in his own submarine. That somehow resulted in submarine. How? Submarines are made as like pressure protected thing because they're submarines. That's the whole thing. How can a toilet do it? This is insane.
This video is brought to you by Warwood Tools, an American family-owned business based out of West Virginia that's been making sledgehammers and axes for over 165 years. I mean, look at this bad boy. It's a 10-pound sledgehammer made out of 1060 high-carbon steel that was forged using World War II-era drop hammers. So next time somebody tells you they don't make things like they used to, just know that Warwood actually does. Back to the video. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Type 7...
By the way, they don't make things the way they used to. The most of that comes from our adoption of plastic, basically. Back then plastic wasn't used that much, and so mostly hard metals were used, which is like better in a way, sure. Then plastic were used, but plastics are not better in this way. I don't know how to explain this, because plastics were not better. Material science wasn't strong, but now material science is strong, and plastic can be sturdy, can be long lasting, it can have a premium feel to it. So things doesn't apply nowadays, like people don't make things the way they used to. Doesn't apply now. Okay, maybe it applies to somewhat because there are more people making more stuff, and some of them just like by just sheer average, lots of them gonna be bad quality as well. But there are a lot of people who makes a really good shit, like this ones are apparently.
German U-boat. U-boat just means underwater boat, aka it's a submarine, and the Germans just wanted to use a different name so that they could feel special. But with the Type 7 U-boat in particular,
okay, I think U-boat, they didn't call it U-boat, they called something German. And in all German languages, obviously that's how Germans, the closest thing I can associate with German is like OCD. That's the over engineering shit like that come from. I guess it's just innate. And they also use things simplistic, like something like U-boat means under. I think they use some kind of German word for that, and they just translate it into U-boat or something. But yeah, German's like, oh, it's an underwater boat because that's what it is. What you talking about?
Special name just wasn't special enough. No. They also had to have a special type of toilet. You see, the Germans didn't want to use a septic tank on board for their bathrooms like literally every other submarine ever, because septic tanks made sense and were convenient. I mean, they took up a lot of space and added weight, apparently. So instead, they engineered their way out of common sense and proceeded to make a toilet that would flush directly into the ocean, which honestly wasn't a terrible idea except for the fact that you could only flush when the submarine was above water, which, as I'm sure you can tell by the name Submarine, wasn't all that often. You see, when the submarine was underwater, it meant that the pressure outside of the sub was greater than the pressure in the sub, and you can't exactly flush it.
That's what I was about to say, like, how the fuck does that work? If you're gonna flush directly into the ocean, wouldn't that cause issue with the pressure in the first place? But then like you have to go above the water. Like that's just weird. That's why you need septic tank in the first fucking place.
Toilet into a higher pressure system, because that's not how toilets work, because gravity and science and shit.
Yes, science!
If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that every time this submarine was underwater and one of the 50 crewmen had to take a piss or honk out a dirt snake, they had to do it into a bucket because the toilets didn't work.
What the fuck was that?
God. And then they just had to leave the bucket sitting out and hope they didn't spill, which is what the medical community refers to as is fucking disgusting. Enter the turd-tagonist of our story, ladies and gentlemen, U-boat 1206.
It's a U-boat. Look at the size of it. You can't make a size for one. Make it a small septic tank, I guess. Tell people to take less of a dump, but at least they can do it.
depart for its first war patrol ever on April 6, 1945, under the command of 28-year-old Adolf Schlitt. And Commander Schlitt's new vessel was equipped with the latest and greatest toilet technology. You see, the Germans had addressed the issue of
By the way, you know this is pre-World War II because somebody's name is Adolf.
Being able to flush underwater, and it absolutely was not by equipping a septic tank like everyone else. No, they had superior German engineering, and that's exactly what they used on their toilet, because they created a toilet that would flush into a pressure chamber that they would then pressurize to a pressure that was greater than the water pressure outside of the sub, and then they would open it and shoot the feces into the water like a poop torpedo. They literally made a turd torpedo.
Nice.
Which honestly infuriates me on so many different levels. Because A, they're roaming around the seven seas blowing mud all over the ocean floor, and I can't even get a plastic straw 78 years later. Look, I'm not saying I don't care about the turtles. All I'm saying is we need to come up with a compromise where I can pretend to give a shit about ocean animals while also not having a mushy straw halfway through my drink. Secondly, and probably most importantly, this toilet was so complex and it was so vital that it be used 100% correctly 100% of the time that they had to train a new crew member, and his whole job was to flush this toilet. And his job title was, and I quote, the shit man. And that, kids, is probably the best example I can give you of why commas are important, because there is a significant difference between being...
I just got it. Shit, comma man. No, it's just shit man. Oh god. That is... Oh, that's very insane. I'm guessing this, I guess, translated from German. Translation is what fuck things up. I don't know. Yeah, seriously, man, German thing. Okay, I'm a car guy. So most of my knowledge comes from car related shit. And I know, obviously, it's better now, but 10 years ago, I know for a fact, if you buy something like Mercedes and BMW, it will not work for single reason, because they over-engineered the shit out of it, especially with the electronics. They make it so complicated. If some small thing fuck up, the whole car is fucked. And the problem with that, most of the times, workshops don't even know what the fuck is the problem. So they'll take a long time just to figure shit out. And when they realize it's going to cost $1 million tons of money because they had to go through around a lot of shit. It's so insane. I remember people actually selling their BMWs for something like, like Jeep or something, Grand Cherokee or something. Right? That's just insane. Like, why did you bought this? Like, I'm tired of BMW. BMW had more than Mercedes, if I remember correctly. That was so insane, man. I was always hyped for BMW, but then I got turned off. But now it's like BMW is getting better. Like all Germans are getting better for past 5 or so years in electric related things. So.
The shit man and being the shit man. Because one of them means that you're probably a pretty cool guy, and the other one means that all your coworkers are going to talk to you like this.
Shitter was full!
Yeah. You checked our shitters, honey?
Okay, first of all, having a toilet be so complex that it necessitates its own career path is the brightest shining example of German engineering I've ever seen in my entire life. And secondly, it's important to remember the whole reason they did this was to save space and weight by not having a septic tank. Now, they have a new member of the crew whose whole job is to flush the toilet. He's also going to need somewhere to live, and he's going to have to eat food. At best, they're maybe breaking even. And to top it all off, they're also launching butt burritos at innocent turtles. This is unacceptable. Okay, so U-Boat 1206 is on its first war patrol ever. 8 days into that war patrol, Commander Schlitt has to take a shit. You can't make this up.
Yeah.
So the commander goes in the submarine, does what he has to do, and then when it comes time to summon the toilet guy, whose whole job is to flush the toilet and nothing else, he decides, nah, if anybody's gonna launch...
And this be more bourgeois or whatever, right? It's like fucking royalty here. Where's the shit boy? Bring him here. I'm gonna take a shit and I'm gonna flush it. Wipe out my feet as well. Why the fuck not? This just feels weird.
Stick pickle at an innocent fish, it's gonna be me. Plus, I'm an officer. I'm smart. How complex could it be? Things promptly go catastrophically wrong, and the entire compartment begins filling with his own feces and seawater.
Stab yourself at this point.
Which honestly wouldn't be the end of the world, except for the fact that this compartment was also full of high-capacity batteries for the submarine, and when high-capacity batteries are exposed to salt water, they start to release hydrogen and chlorine gas. Hydrogen being extremely flammable and chlorine gas being toxic would force the crew to immediately surface the vessel, open up the hatch, and start venting the toxic fumes. And just when you think this day couldn't get any shittier, they were immediately spotted by the Royal Air Force, who began attacking them. The RAF would then critically...
This is a parody movie. Sure, the shit has caused all the battery to go haywire. It's all gas everywhere. Like, God damn it. Just like pull up and everybody just like, ugh, what the hell? And then suddenly you hear that brrrr, like, God damn. This is the moment. Of all this big ass water, sea water and everything, this is the place they had to come.
Damaged U-boat 1206, causing the entire crew to flee on life rafts, where they were captured and held prisoner till the end of the war.
Imagine that guy who just went to talk captain or whatever, just sitting there like, I'm not gonna escape. This is appropriate. This is just fucking appropriate. I give up. I'm just gonna sit here while we get bombarded.
About 3 weeks later. Commander Schlitt would actually survive and live to the age of 90 when he passed away in 2009, being probably the only guy to go to the bathroom and actually blow it up. So in conclusion,
Commander Schlitt took a shit. Everything went to shit. There you go. That's a basic historical sentence for him.
I truly believe that this may be the most expensive and consequential bowel movement in human history, and if it's not, I need you to let me know in the comments what actually is. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang!
Yep. Only thing that can rival this is like somebody went to some kind of space mission, trying to go to Mars, take a shit, and somehow rocket or whatever, like transport or whatever that is, goes haywire and everybody dies in the space. That would be even worse than this. So there you go. Nothing else can top this. Oh, for God's sake. Imagine that. Imagine going back to the general command and just like, yeah, this happened. Yep, there you go. This happened. First of all, why is there any account of this, right? People didn't just burn all the evidence or anything this happened, because this is embarrassing at a whole other level. Well, those toilets, sinks, submarines, most expensive bowel movement ever. Question mark. Like, I don't need to put question mark there. This is like a definite thing. This is my channel, The Fat Electrician. If you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.